thunder jug, essentially a small pot filled with gunpowder that we're going to light off with a piece of slow match. So it can be as simple or as complex as you need it to be. And then for our purposes here, especially given that we kind of want to give you a better show than just lighting off a pot full of gunpowder, we might as well, of course, fire off our piece of artillery for you all today. But with that being said, I'm going to introduce you to exactly what my colleagues are doing here with this cannon. You're going to see two tools that are going to be there at the front of the gun that are going to be used for our loading procedure. The first that is going to be held by my colleague in that buff frock coat there, that is an auger. It is an iron worm or a corkscrew that is going to be sent down the barrel to remove any debris in between previous shots. There might be burning flame or embers in that barrel, and we do not want those to be present when we load in fresh gunpowder. But then afterwards, we're going to be using our sponge. That is a large piece of sheep's wool on the end of a stick. We are going to be dousing that in water, and that's going to, again, snuff out any embers that might be present when we are, again, ready to load this gun. But once that has been done, we are now going to be ready to actually load in our proper gunpowder. Now that gunpowder is going to be stored quite far away from the cannon, because that amount of explosion, if you will, if we want to keep it as far away as possible.
On the battlefield, search peace.
So with that, of course, our commands are going to be starting here in just a moment. That preparatory command, if you will, of cleaning up the gun before they are going to be firing is being commenced here. Once that is done, they will then go through the loading procedure.
Oh, peace!
The loading piece, he is grabbing that cannon charge. Before he does so, he's going to pronounce.
Coming about!
Coming about is very important. It's signaling to the rest of those who might be on the cannon crew that charge is approaching. They need to take caution, especially when it comes to either exposed gunpowder, or we also have a slow match there that's going to be our ignition source. That is also going to be utilized as well, so we want to make sure that's clear away from the black powder. Now that the charge has been loaded, we're now going to be loading that into the breech zone with what's called pick and prime. So we're taking a brass pick, running that down the touch hole. That is going to expose the gunpowder from its casing, and now we're going to be putting in a priming charge. Now this can be either loose gunpowder like what we're using today, but this can also come in the form of a quill, essentially a large almost either tin or paper rod that is going to be used here as well. Well, with that, the gun has now been loaded. We are now effectively ready to fire, and it is just about noon, so you'll be having that go off in just a moment. I do warn you, though, this is going to be quite loud, so if you are sensitive to loud noises, now is the time to cover your ears.
Gunners, banks ready! Give fire! Fire! Recover!
And there you have it, folks. That is our cannon firing, and of course, I hope you heard to say, good afternoon.
Did anything shoot out?
Now, of course, if you have any further questions, I'll be happy to answer them here. But of course, thanks so much for attending the demonstration, and enjoy the rest of that afternoon.